When they catch him, it becomes clear that she's their fourth roommate who returned from vacation. The next day, she goes to class because the lecture is on, and she notices that Young hasn't arrived yet. The teacher enters and asks them to write their names for attendance. Young wakes up late and sends her a message to write his name in the attendance until he arrives. She reluctantly does so. Unfortunately, the teacher calls out the names, and she responds with her name. When Young's name is called, she changes her appearance, puts on a cap, and responds in his place. The teacher exposes her and jokingly asks if she thinks he's blind, which amuses her classmates. The day goes on, and the teacher teases her, telling her not to be late again. At night, she hangs out with her friends, playing games, and loses a challenge. They ask her to settle a score with someone from the shooting team. She reluctantly agrees and approaches Young. However, he refuses and embarrasses her in front of her friends. She's shocked, and her friends try to convince her to come back with them, but she refuses and attacks Young, hitting him until he's hurt. Afterwards, she regrets it. He takes her to the clinic, where she treats his wound herself, apologizing for her actions and asking him to stop bothering her. He refuses, so she gets angry and leaves. When she returns to the dorm, she discovers someone recorded her while she was hitting him. The video spreads on the university group, and rumors circulate that she hit a guy because he refused to get to know her. She feels embarrassed and continues crying. The next day, she goes to the university in disguise so that no one recognizes her. She overhears students talking about her. When she goes to order food, they recognize her and start harassing her. She talks to Young and tells him that people are chasing her. She asks him to tell them the truth, but he refuses and leaves her. This angers her, and she wants to hit him again, and decides to get revenge on him. Later, she sees him putting his clothes in the laundry, so she puts a red teddy bear with them. When Young returns, he is surprised to see that his clothes have changed color. He receives a message from Lynn asking about the color of his t-shirt, and he realizes that she did it. He gets angry and decides to retaliate against her. He spreads an email saying that a girl is chasing him because he refused to give her his account. Lynn sees the post and gets upset because he exposed her. Then, Lynn goes to the place where there are cats and talks to John. She tells him that she needs money and asks if he knows of any opportunity. John tells her that the shooting team needs assistance, and if they accept her, she'll receive a scholarship and a good salary. Lynn likes the idea and decides to apply, even though she lacks experience. But the coach likes her personality and agrees, introducing her to the team leader who happens to be Young. The coach gets angry with him for neglecting training and insults him. Lynn takes him to treat his wound and tells him that she will be the team's assistant. After that, Young starts training harder in the gym, and Lynn supports him. By coincidence, she overhears the coach talking on the phone. She learns that if the team doesn't win the championship, it will be disbanded. The coach advises her not to tell the team to prevent them from feeling discouraged. Lynn goes to them to brainstorm together. She starts cheering for the team, playing music, distributing water, and training with them to boost their morale. However, the basketball team arrives and bullies them, turning off the music. One of the shooting team members gets angry and hits their leader, sparking a big fight. Lynn falls to the ground during the brawl. The coach intervenes and scolds them, mocking Young for being the team captain. He punishes Young by making him train all night. Lynn tries to defend him, saying that the basketball team was at fault, but the coach doesn't listen. She watches Young train and teases him when he finishes, saying he's exhausted. She claims he won't be able to beat her, but Young challenges her, confident he'll win as usual. However, she cheats and defeats him. When he asks about her request, she tells him to promise to remain the team captain and do whatever it takes to win the championship. Young is captivated by her words and promises her. He starts playing with her like before, and they both become happy, improving their relationship. The next day, Lynn visits her mother in the hospital and finds out she brought her the gift she wanted. Lynn expresses her joy and tells her she's glad to be close to her and able to see her anytime. Her mother is touched and hugs her, making up for the days she was away due to work. After leaving her mother's place, Lynn calls her brother and tells him about her visit. He sounds upset, and when he hangs up, their father enters and confronts Lynn about not taking the money he left for her. He asks her brother to go to her university and give it to her. The next day, Lynn receives a call from Blaine, who says he's in the city, and they arrange to meet. Later, Lynn meets someone she knows from online gaming at a cafe, only to find out it's her roommate's sibling. Lynn joins them for a meal, and he gives her the Visa card, asking her to forgive their father and accept the money. Then Lynn goes to the shooting club and sees Young training. When she hears one of the team members insulting him, she hits him and takes Young to treat him to lunch. After they finish eating, they walk together and gaze at the sky. At night, Lynn returns to the dorm but can't find anyone. John calls her and she goes to meet him on the rooftop. She's surprised to find out that the cat has given birth, making Lynn happy. She tells John that she remembered her puppy when it was small and how she found it on the street after its mother got hit by a car, which inspired her to study veterinary medicine. John is captivated by her words and realizes how kind and compassionate she is. Suddenly, the guard locks them on the rooftop, and Lynn feels cold. John gives her his jacket to keep warm. Later, Young arrives with the guard and feels jealous seeing them together. He takes back the jacket from John and gives it to Lynn, then leaves with her. When they reach the ground floor, it's clear he's upset. Lynn continues teasing him, saying John is a nice guy who loves animals like her. Young gets angry and tells her to go alone. Lynn throws the jacket at him and runs off. The next day, Lynn sits with her friends and tells them about what happened with John. She feels happy and senses that she might have feelings for him. Meanwhile, Young is training for shooting, and his friend notices he's distracted and seems upset. He suggests that Young might have feelings for Lynn and should confess to her before it's too late. However, Young denies it, saying they're just friends, and that he enjoys teasing her because she used to bully him. Later, they have a lecture and Lynn sits next to John. He helps her focus by highlighting important points for her. Young sits behind them, clearly upset, and Lynn teases him, asking what he finds interesting about their lecturer so he can continue staring at him. She notices he's drawing something, and when she takes the paper, she sees he's drawn a dog's head. Lynn is puzzled by his behavior and asks him what's wrong, but he doesn't respond and walks away. Lynn continues to bother him by holding on to the drawing. Later, Lynn goes to the restaurant with her friend, and Young and his friend enter, but this time, he ignores her. Lynn is surprised, and her friend thinks they had a fight. After that, they go to the shooting club, and Lynn notices the coach is upset because they're not focusing. She offers him juice after practice to lighten his mood. After training, she talks to the coach, who is upset because he feels the team isn't training well. She suggests they have a competition against another team to motivate them, and the coach likes the idea and agrees. The next day, he gathers the team and tells them about the upcoming competition against another university's team next week. They're shocked because the opposing team is strong, but the coach tells them to train hard to be ready for the match. One of the team members develops feelings for Lynn and tries to get closer to her, offering to give her a ride on his motorcycle, which she accepts. He succeeds and punctures his tire. Lynn leaves him and runs to catch the lecture. The student gets angry and argues with him, wanting to hit him with the bow. The coach sees them and takes the bow from him. He wants to kick the student out of the team, but the student begs for forgiveness. Yanji intervenes as the team leader and asks the coach to give them another chance. He punishes them by making them do fitness exercises. They thank the student for saving their future, reconcile, and continue working together. The whole team runs together, including Lynn, and she is happy to see them bonding and becoming one team. When they finish and meet the basketball team, insults are exchanged. The team leader tells them that if they lose the competition, their team will disband. The team is shocked and upset. Lynn invites them for lunch to boost their morale, but they feel discouraged because they are competing against an undefeated team. That night, Lynn thinks about how to motivate them and grabs the microphone. She goes to the men's dormitory and cheers for the team, highlighting each member's strengths. However, the dorm supervisor chases her, but John helps her hide in his dorm. Lynn feels embarrassed, and John talks to the supervisor and convinces her to leave. Lynn takes the opportunity to escape. The next day, she visits the place with the cats and finds John feeding them. She thanks him for helping her yesterday and tells him about the competition. John decides to help her and they go to the team together with a camera. He continues to support them and takes pictures. At night, Lynn edits the photos and writes the date of the match on them. The next day, she starts distributing the photos to her friends and informs everyone about the competition, asking them to support their team. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and check out our other selection of recaps. Take care.